My word, there's some holes back in here, and I'm glad I decided to look at this a little bit more carefully, you know, because there are some grout or some rocks that were missing back here, and I think this is going to work. But before I get going all gung-ho, I don't know, I might want to put a little bit of this on. See, when it's wet, it looks brighter. It doesn't look like the picture. But usually, grout will lighten, what is it, lighten up or darken up? I guess it depends on the color. You just have to see, you know? I would say it generally would darken up when it dries, and I don't know how far I want to go before I think, shoot, I should have used the other one that I had it, and I went a little too far before I decided to stop and maybe do the other one. Okay, so I think maybe I should do only a little and maybe sit here a few minutes. You know, let it dry a little bit and see if that's what I want. I mean, it doesn't have to be 100% exactly the same that's on the wall. But as I'm looking at the wall, funny thing, as I'm looking at the wall, see, the grout looks just a hair darker, doesn't it? This grout over here looks a little darker than what's down on the counter, and maybe because on the counter there's soap scum on it and some other stuff and just years of stuff. So I'm gonna say I probably should use the darker grout. I've got it here. I'm looking at that color. See, when I look at both of those colors, neither one seems to be perfect. But when you're at the store, you think, oh yeah, it's this one. No, maybe it's that one. You come back here and then you start second guessing yourself. So what I could do is put a little bit of that down on the ground here too, and kind of look at both of them and make a proper decision without just guessing and say, oh, that's good enough. Okay? Well, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little bit of that. I'm going to put a little bit of that back in here. I could always wipe it back out or scrape it out if it's slightly off. You know what I mean? I'm glad I got both of those containers. I'm going to do it right. Hey, well, I made the determination that this other stuff is darker, and I'm just up against the sink. I'm just putting it on with my finger. I'm going to ultimately have to get it in there anyways. You know, I put some around over here, just cleaning that. And I'm going to finish doing this around the rest of the sink before I get into figuring out what to do around the sink faucet. I'll probably have to do that with my fingers a little bit and a little screwdriver, putty knife, something. The main thing I wanted to do was kind of get those areas first, you know, before I do the fun stuff, which is the main body. For the rest of the grout. Yeah, okay. Yeah, like I said, I'm just on the fly, right here, wanting you to watch this, giving you a couple laughs, you know. Or if you have something, is there a right or wrong way to do certain things? Maybe. But then other times, you just do what you think you need to do, you know, to get your project done, right? Keep it going. If you can't get in there tight with your finger, no problem. Just use your putty knife, get it in there. If somebody's going to look at my work when I get done, I want to make sure it looks halfway decent and it's up tight, you know? See, this little bit in here, I'm not going to be able to do with the sponge. I'm afraid it's going to just kind of fall all over the place. I'll have to kind of work on this a little bit too. Oh, brother. See, because there's no edge to work off, I just have to kind of, you know, this little outside edge, I'm just going to kind of poke it in there with my finger and blend it in. I don't really have any choice, do I? Just remember, before this dries, you're gonna have to wipe this off with your sponge. Oh yeah. All right, I've done enough damage there. Now I'm gonna do right over there with my putty. And I'm just gonna kind of get it in there close as best I can. You know, is it gonna be perfect? Maybe not. Maybe not. We'll see. Just do the best you can on any open areas that you have. And if the faucet has to ever be replaced, they may have to dig out a little bit around the grout, you know. We'll just have to see on that. I'm just gonna have to pack it in there with the little screwdriver. Jeez. Now why couldn't they have done this properly when they installed it? No, whenever you do a job, finish it. Well, you know, I decided to forego the paddle to put this on because it's so uneven. I'm just putting it on this way. Then I can get it all in the nooks and crannies and then come back as it's drying and maybe scrape some more of it off before I sponge it off because it's so uneven. You know, could I use that sponge applicator? You know, I could use this, but I'm going to take this back to the store, I think. I don't really think I need it. We'll see. The verdict's not in just yet, but this seems to be working, so that's why I'm going for it. Now, I ended up deciding to do my finger right around the edge of this, but I could probably just do the tiles just as well as the putty knife, you know? Whatever works, do it. I've decided to just keep doing it with my putty knife. It's a flatter overall surface than just the finger. Yeah. This is an unorthodox way to grout your rock. And it doesn't have to be on a countertop. It can be something else, the shower floor. Well, if it's like that, I'd use the rubber applicator, you know. I haven't tried yet. I guess I should probably try it on the right side of this sink, huh? Just to say I did. Before I use that other applicator though, Just gonna wipe some of this off. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on this because once it starts drying, I'm gonna want to get my sponge in there. I don't want to do the sponge too soon though. You know, it's going to be kind of a happy medium, and that's all right. I still got plenty of grout that if I take off too much, I can put a little bit of extra in there or whatever. Have fun with it. You know what? That's the last bit I have to do, and I can do that with the putty knife. Do I really want to mess this up? I could take this back to the store. This set me back over $5. I could buy a Big Mac and fries for that. I think I'll have to show you using that sponge applicator on something else later on down the road. Sorry. A new way to lose some weight. Leave your air conditioner off. Do this in the middle of the summer. No exhaust fan, no ceiling fan on, no nothing. It feels like a sauna in here, let me tell you. Jeez. And so here I got it. Just like this. And I've wiped off as much of this as I could with the knife. You know, after I got it on. Okay, now I'm just going to let that sit for a while. I got to let that sit until it starts drying. I don't want to let it dry so hard that I can't get that off with the sponge. But I don't want to take it off too soon, so I drag a lot of this in between the nooks and crannies out. Okay, so be careful when you're doing this. You see this bit right here, I did a little test, and I did that with my finger and wiped it off, and then I wiped off some of the rocks just to see how it was going to blend in. So that's why the rest of this, I've got to get it off just in the right time. Worst case scenario, if I take it off just a hair too quick, I can catch that stop, put a little bit more grout on, and wait a little bit longer. The last thing you want to do is what? Wait too long. Now because I was tying that in to the backsplash, doesn't it look nice and tight there? Of course I had to use my putty knife along there and get that in there. Okay, that's another reason why I decided not to use that applicator, because I didn't want to raise that and spooge it up on top of the backsplash. Okay? Well, sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do.